software to another software, and copying catalog from some external sources. You have to identify the base portion depending upon the type and size of the library, collection, time, budget, and quality of standard. Also, of course, manpower also. So this training program will help all of you to understand metadata conversion, open source software such resource persons will provide detailed information on international standards such as Mark 21, Mark XML, and they will also make you understand how metadata can be created. At the end of this 5 days program, we will be conducting an online test based on the content which have been covered in this 5 days program. So now I will take this opportunity to introduce today's resource person, Professor Parthasarathy Mukhopadhyay. He is one of the greatest and bright personality, and he has conducted a lot of research work on this area. He has completed his PhD from Jadavpur University. Professor Mukhopadhyay is an expert committee member of many committees of Ministry of Culture. He is also actively involved in National Virtual Library project of Ministry of Culture. Currently, he is shouldering the responsibility of HOD and professor in University of Kalyani. Before joining the teaching community, he was working with Central Glass and Ceramic Research Institute. So he is having practical librarianship experience, and he has served a number of institutions across the country. He has joined as an associate professor in Kalyan University in 2012. Prior to that, he was working with the University of Burdwan and Vidyasagar University. He has around 105 research papers to his credit in different areas of library and information science. He has extensively worked on source discovery service, and he is encouraging library professionals to use open source softwares in library information science. With this brief introduction, I would request Professor Parthasarathy Mukhopadhyay to take over the session, and I once again and over to.
Thank you, Mitesh ji. Thank you, Mitesh ji. Thank you, Mitesh ji, and good morning to all of you. I hope that I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So, what I have planned in the big bit, why we need discovery services in place or in addition to library OPAC. Then I will try to show you some of the live experiments we are doing with ViewFind as a discovery interface of different library services. I'm going to share my screen. Wait for 5-10 seconds. It takes time. Is it visible, Mitesh ji? Hello. Hello.
Yeah, it is visible.
Okay. So I am starting. First of all, the topic of deliberation is that from OPAC to discovery. Now the subtitle I have given, integrating retrieval silos through ViewFind. Now the only unknown term possibly to you here is the retrieval silo. What do I mean by retrieval silo? You are all from different prestigious libraries and library science departments. You all know in an academic library setup, presently we are running many open source software for providing different kind of services. For example, either you are using Sol or Libsys or Koha for providing your library OPAC services, that is the interface between your collection and your user. Then you are also using different IDR, institutional digital repository software like ePrint Archive, DSpace for providing faculty publication, full text thesis, learning object, etc. Then you are having possibly small scale digital library setup with Greenstone, where you are managing different kind of ebooks. Now these are all silos. Koha OPAC has no link with DSpace. DSpace retrieval interface has no link with Greenstone. Now you see, another problem is that as a librarian you are subscribing lot many resources, e-journals, electronic databases, e-books. So you just think about your user. We as a library professionals, we are very proud that presently we are operating a complex scenario. We have many softwares we are managing, we are operating at the system level. But if you ask a user, for user it is becoming difficult day by day, because if I want to have a book, I need to go to OPAC, which is possibly using Mark 21 metadata schema at the backend. If I need a full text thesis, I need to go to DSpace, which is again using a different retrieval engine with a different metadata schema, qualified Dublin code. So in this way, you think about your user, they are just roaming from pillar to post for obtaining resources. And as a user of library, we all know that it hardly matters for a user that from where that particular resource is coming. I don't simply care from where it is coming, whether it is coming from OPAC as a book, or from DSpace as a thesis, or from Greenstone as an ebook, or from my subscribe journal articles, or from my subscribe electronic databases. I as a user need a Google-like simple and OPAC-like elegant single window search interface. So there lies the possibility of a discovery. In place of the different retrieval silos we are presently operating in isolation in an academic library typically, that needs to be replaced. Possibly that should be the next generation of library automation. Now you can have a library discovery without installing or subscribing to a library discovery services. For example, if you expose your metadata, library metadata, book metadata, thesis metadata over the internet, there are many global scale search engines like Google, Google Scholar, Google Book, Goodreads, Microsoft Bing. So many global scale search engines can index your library resources, but the problem is that there we don't have any kind of control. We don't have control what they are indexing. We don't have control what they are displaying. What is their search algorithm, against which particular keyword which of your library material will pop up. That you simply do not know. Everything depends on the opaque or non-transparent search algorithm of these commercial services. So although we can have a library discovery without a discovery layer, it is always advisable that you an academic library who is operating in retrieval silos must have a discovery service to provide a single window search interface to each of your users. Now the concept of library discovery is not a new one. If you take the one simple example of the initiatives of OCLC, they are doing this particular thing for the last 3 decades. So in the decade of 90s, they came up with in 1991 fast search. So it's a kind of federated search. All member libraries of OCLC are getting to access to the different kind of fast search databases, article fast, reference fast, full text fast, etc. So that was the initiation. Then in 2006 they came up with WorldCat. WorldCat, you all know, the largest bibliographic database of the world. This is actually working as a union catalog for the 184 plus member libraries of OCLC. Then in 2008 they developed a discovery service. It is available commercially, that is WorldCat Local. But in 2014 they developed a much more improved version of WorldCat Local, that is called WorldCat Discovery. So OCLC is trying to develop, and OCLC, the leader of the library and information science field. So they are trying to develop this kind of all-in-one search box right from the decade of 90s, and the 2014 they came up with a very impressive product which is called WorldCat Discovery, and they are again trying to develop another one that is called World Share Management.
Today's 7-day e-workshop on contemporary.
Okay, so OCLC at the same time they are the leader of the linked open data sets. So now as you see the entire WorldCat is available, 5 billion resources available as RDF triple. They are trying to prepare 15 billion triples within the coming 5 years. DDC, now owned by OCLC, they have already prepared 300 million triples. But why I am saying that? And the stripped down version of Library of Congress, what we call FAST, faceted application of subject terminology, VIAP. So all they are trying to convert into linked open data, because the future of library discovery will be based on the linked open data. So for example, presently we are harvesting MARC records, simple Dublin Core record, qualified Dublin Core record to provide a central index, but in future, possibly within the coming entire things will be based on the linked open data at the back end, and a discovery service will be LOD compliant, so they can harvest class number, different kind of name authority, subject authority, cataloging details or bibliographic details in a single place automatically if you are providing ISBN number or author ID, etc. So future will not be the Mark 21 based cataloging. The future will be in the title you enter the book ID, in the author you enter the author ID, in the class number you enter the class number URI. So everything will be merged automatically together on the basis of linked open data. But that is the future. Presently we are dealing with the central index harvesting based central indexed model. So most of the library discovery systems are following the same model, that is the central index they built on the top of harvesting technology. Now before entering into details of view, find and other discovery system, I always prefer as a teacher to have a WHW cycle, that what is the topic, how does it different from other concept, and why should we learn it. So this three simple questions I am trying to answer. What is a discovery? How does it differ from the traditional search system like OPAC, and why should we learn it? You know all the famous expert of library technology, Marcel Berding. He is publishing LTR, Library Technology Report, every year. He is very famous and very knowledgeable person. He defined a discovery system in the year 2015, that a discovery is basically a relevancy based search result, supports faceted navigation and other features with multiple areas of functionality. So there lies the difference. A OPAC is an homogeneous product. It deals with only with the bibliographic resources, and you are only getting the book related data, and at the core of the code they are following different kind of bibliographic data formats, CCF, Unimark, Mark 21, they are almost same in nature. So a discovery system, first time Marcel Berding actually pointed out that it will have a multiple areas of functionalities. Now what does it mean, multiple areas of functionality? So on the basis of this definition, Marcel Berding identified a total 5 major components of a discovery system. So end user interface to provide a single window search system in place of the retrieval silos. Search and retrieval system for all local resources will be included in that particular interface. So there will be no separate silos for all local component you are using, like Koha, Dispace, Greenstone, subscribe resources, etc. Now a discovery system, mostly your OPAC and other things supports only metadata based retrieval. You can search a library OPAC by author, by title, by subject, not by the section, not by the content, not by the subsection, not by the chapter. So In a library discovery system, it will support both metadata based indexing like author, title, subject, all ISBDs area, all mark tags, mark subfields, as well as if you have a full text of the document, copyright free or under against any kind of commercial license, so that full text search also possible in case of library discovery. If you need to have a full text extractor, and that can easily be linked with the discovery system. Then second is the last but one is that real time interaction with the local ILS. So ILS provides a a different kind of challenge to discovery, that you need not only to retrieve the bibliographical resources, that is the manifestation level data, you also need to retrieve the item level data. For example, if you search WorldCat, IndCat or COPAC, not many union catalogs all around the world, you will find you can very easily search a book related data in which libraries this particular book is available, but right from the same interface you cannot have the copy level information, whether how many copies of this book available and which particular copy is available for issue. So that kind of real time item level status generation is not possible in case of a typical union catalog, and discovery system can do that by utilizing an emerging protocol called ILSDI. ILSDI stands for Integrated Library Services Discovery Interface Protocol, developed by DLF, Digital Library Forum. So Viewfind or many other library discovery systems are compatible with ILSDI and can fetch real-time item level data from the backend ILS. And last one is that it will provide you a single window search box for all internal resources, as well as it will make it possible to forward the query different open access resources, different subscribe resources, so your user don't have to leave your discovery system. Every time now you are providing a journal articles kind of thing, we are providing a list kind of thing, they click and they go outside of our system, they go to the publisher side. So you now do not have to go to the publisher side. In place very much within the inside of a discovery system, you can search your local resources as well as the global subscribe resources and global open access resources. Now, as I said, why should we learn it? So I do hope that you already have a bit idea on library discovery and how library discovery in place of a library OPAC can provide a single window search interface for all kind of resources a typical academic library is having. Now I am trying to give you two sets of reason through which you can understand that why this becomes very important for library professional to learn these new technologies, to implement these new technologies. Now if you can see this particular picture in the screen, so here I am presenting the present scenario in most of the academic libraries in India who are running retrieval silos without a discovery layer. Now see, in the middle I am the user. If I need a book, I need to go to Koha. They are following Mark 21, and Koha is following Zebra retrieval engine. The retrieval techniques is slightly different. Then if I need a ebook, I can go to Greenstone. They are following simple Dublin code. Again, retrieval technique is different because Greenstone is using MGPP, the older version, and the newer versions using either Lucene or Solr. Now I have a faculty publication or IDR, institutional digital repository. I am getting some noise from your end. Please mute your
Sir, none of the person has unmuted their.
Okay, it happens.
I think it is reflecting from your another device, sir.
No. I am without any device.
It is showing two devices are connected from Parthasarathi Mukhopadhyay. It is showing, sir. It may be another tab also.
Okay, let me off my phone.
Okay, now it is clear, sir.
It's okay.
It is clear, sir. Yeah, it is okay.
Okay, fine. So the present scenario in most of the academic libraries in India is without a discovery layer, and as a user I am running from pillar to post. If I need a book, I need to go to Koha, ebook, Greenstone, full text thesis DSpace. Then I have an array of external resources like open access resources, subscribe resources, and so on. Now the question is that are our user happy? So let me tell you the problem of this particular model. So end user are moving from one search interface to another search interface. As I said, they are running from pillar to post. The situation is becoming much more complex when we are having lists of external resources, because different external resources like your journal portals, your your electronic databases, they follow different retrieval techniques, and different user interfaces and different retrieval techniques always create problem for the user. So in simple word, in our present library search services, we are operating in silos and our users are running from pillar to post. So that is the problem with our present devices. So in place of that particular model, we can have another another model. Let me show you the scenario with a discovery layer. So why should we learn? As I said, that this particular situation our users are facing much problem, so this situation calls for an immediate attention from library professionals. Libraries dealing with nowadays digital landscape, and users are not related anymore to a specific institute. So that is another point. The solution may be the application of discovery service as the front layer for all of your local as well as global services. The cross collection discovery service refers to an improved user interface to submit queries, receive results, and make content selection. So these are the reasons why should we go from library OPAC to library discovery, because your OPAC is a silo, a retrieval silo, a non-related compartment which is not interacting with any other retrieval interfaces of the library. Now you see, in place of that model, that library without a discovery layer, if we now having an array of backend software like Koha, Greenstone, DSpace, resources, now we integrate that with a full text extractor like Apache Tika, and we provide entire central index through a discovery layer. So my user will now having a Google-like simple but OPAC-like elegant. Google-like simple means it will provide a Google-like simple search box, but anytime I need to perform a complex query, I can always switch over to the next level or the improved level of search interface. That is called advanced search interface. So this is now when you are attaching your system with the full text extractor and discovery layer, so your user now can interact in this particular central index and can have entire library resources from a single interface. Now why should we have library discovery in place of the library OPAC? As I said, because library OPAC operate in isolation like a silo. Library OPAC is most importantly deals with a specific kind of data, and these are basically homogeneous in nature. In the same way, the same data structure they are following. Say for example, in your library OPAC, typical library OPAC, can you mix up with the cultural objects? Now most of the big libraries in India having a museum, and most of the museums are having a library. Now these are again two retrieval silos. Cultural object cannot be linked with bibliographical resources in a typical library OPAC. Mark 21 or CCF or Unimark do not provide any kind of framework to link cultural object or to catalog cultural object. That is again a separate metadata schema like CCO, cataloging cultural object, metadata schema like Lido, Spectrum, Midas. So these are not supported at all in library software. And most interesting, in a library OPAC, we expect users to process medium to high searching literacy. Say for example, I need to go for to search books written by Amartya Sen. So I need to know that I need to select author as a field. Then I need to select books written by Amartya Sen published during 70s to 90s, then I need to know how to perform the range search activity. So we always expect a medium to high level of search literacy in case of a library, OPAC or other retrieval silos. Now it's a journey from search to discovery. Discovery, as I said, it is the integrating of various services together, and lot many personal search environment. This is called PIE, personal information environment. So we can perform all OPAC like functionalities inside a discovery. I can check my borrowing history, I can check my safe search, I can check my fine, I can place a hold, I can cancel a hold. So all these are now possible through discovery interface, because at the backend ILS I can interact with the backend ILS through a protocol called ILSDI. If network permits, I will try to show you in live. Now when you are trying to have a discovery interface, we are basically having two models. Discovery, the concept of discovery is an age-old one. We first tried, the library library professionals all over the world, they first tried with the federated search model. For example, in case of a Sol or Koha, you are using Z39.50 client, you are searching something, you are selecting a set of resources, then there is no index. In real time it is forwarding your metadata to different Z39.50 server, collecting the resources and provide to you. But the problem is that if you increase the size of the server, your search will be very slow, first of all. Second, you do not have any control of the ranking. Relevancy ranking is not at all ensured. It is just working as a meta search engine. Metadata enhancement is not possible. But the advantage, there is one advantage, that the search is in real time. Suppose Library of Congress catalogued a particular book at 12 noon. If I search 12.01 noon, then that particular book will be retrieved through Z39.50 server. So that is the only advantage. Search is real time. Rest of the things are, you don't have any control. You don't have any control of search time. You don't have any control of the ranking of the results, nothing. On the other hand, the discovery model, which is actually based on the protocol like OAI, PMH, ILSDI, etc., their search and retrieval is very fast, because you are not searching the distributed resources, you are searching a central index available inside the server, unified index. Many of the different types of resources like your bibliographical resources, your cultural object, your learning materials, all can be merged smoothly, because it is metadata we can tune for indexing. Relevancy ranking is ensured. Enhancement of metadata is possible at the service provider level. Comprehensive result, often in case of Z39.50 or federated search, the result is indicative, not comprehensive. But in case of a discovery system, result is comprehensive. Performance quality is very high. But there is only one problem: the search is not real time. Search, it depends on the currency of the harvesting. If you last harvest 12 noon yesterday, then today I will be getting data of yesterday only. So we have to have a regular harvesting cycle, and every time you do not have to harvest everything. Suppose a document a resource is having 1000 records. So yesterday I harvested, then they added another 5 records. Today when I will harvest, those all new 5 records will be coming and indexed in my system, not the 1005 records. Okay, so these are the scenario, and the whole world moved towards the discovery level in place of the federated searching model. Another problem is that federated searching is based on the proprietary standard Z39.50, Z39.50 in next generation, SRU, SRW. Hello.
Sir, some Vaishali is there. Her audio is coming again and again. Just see, please see, because it is getting disturbed totally.
Okay, sir.
May I start now?
Vaishali, still it is on. Your mic is on. Sir, Vaishali's mic, if you can mute.
Just a minute.
So please continue now, sir. Please.
Okay, so should I again repeat this slide or okay? So my point is that discovery software, based on two models.
Yes, sir. Please repeat the slide.
Okay, so discovery model is based on the two model. One is called the federated search model, that is the age-old model, which is based on proprietary standards like Z39.50, Zing, SRU, SRW. All are proprietary standards of NISO or Library of Congress. Now federated searching you have all experienced through Z39.50. There is no central index. You can select a number of Z39.50 server. You can put your query in the search box. Your Z39.50 client will carry forward the query to n number of servers and will give you result in real time. But there are two big problems. First problem is that search time or search response time. If you select 5 server, it will be very fast. If you select 10 different server, it will become slow. So the number of servers increases, the number of resources increases, it started getting slow. Second is that ranking of result is not at all controlled. It is giving you result as it is giving, just like meta search engine. Meta search engine, they do not have their index of their own. They work on the search engine of different search engine database of different search engines with which they have agreement. So federated search, the advantage is that it is real time. The disadvantage is very big, that is search response time is very high. Then I do not have any control of kind of display of result. Ranking is not at all relevance ranking is not at all ensured. Then the third disadvantage is that the results are not comprehensive. These are always indicative. Now on the other hand, if we follow the discovery model, we can build a central index. Now central index, if it is there, then the search and other performance will be very fast. Standardized unified index, we can merge different kind of metadata schema in the same interfaces. Say for example, bibliographic metadata, cultural metadata, learning object metadata, all can be merged, so it is heterogeneous in nature. Relevancy ranking is ensured because the entire thing is based upon a very standard open source retrieval engine called Apache Solr. They are famous for their ranking algorithm. Metadata enhancement is possible in case of discovery, that is not possible in case of federated search. Comprehensive result in place of the indicative result from federated search. But there is one lacuna in discovery interface. The lacuna is that result is not real time. In a federated search module, in Z39.50, if Library of Congress catalog a particular book at 12 noon, I can search or have that book at 12.01 noon. But in my discovery system, if I harvest the last harvest is on yesterday 12 noon, then I will be getting data up to yesterday 12 noon, not the new data they have added. So in discovery services, one of the prerequisites is that you need to carry forward the harvesting cycle regularly, almost every day. Now the solution is that it is not again, suppose one particular resource is having 1000 database up to 12 noon yesterday. So after that I harvested up to 12 noon. Then after that they have added another 5 data. So when today I am harvesting, all 1005 number of data will not be coming. Harvester is such a smart one, it will snatch only the 5 new data and will index only those 5 new data. So this can be provided through a cell skip kind of thing or through a cron job kind of thing. So regularly at 12 noon or 2 AM in the night, your harvester will harvest every resources and will index it automatically. So that is a solved issue. And discovery service is based on open standards like OAI, PMH and ILSDI, whereas your federated search completely based on the proprietary standard or non-open standards. Now that is the first reason what I have given, that integrated search retrieval interfaces based on the discovery model, you are integrating your local resources as well as global resources. That is the need of the time to save our user who are presently running from pillar to post. But the second set of reason I personally consider much more importance, because the entire base of our library service is changing. Why I am saying so? This is a comparative study where I have tried to give a comparison between the ILS, progressive ILS to LSP. In fact, ILS, although you will be amazed to know this, the integrated library system, be it a commercial one or be it a open source one, gone up the days for the integrated library system. ILS is history now, because you see the problem is that most of the integrated library system, most of the modern ILSs also consider physical resources with the topmost priority. But some of the ILS is actually trying to understand this, and they are switching over to the thing where they can where they will be able to handle both print and electronic resources. But LSP will be giving more emphasis on electronic resources rather than the physical resources. If you look into the collection pattern of any academic library in present day situation, your number of e-journals are higher. In the coming 5 years, because of this kind of pandemic situation, number of e-books will also be higher in future. But you see, you consider any ILS, whatever advanced level it may be, like VTLS or CC-DINGS or Primo, all are basically trying to have or trying to give emphasis on managing physical resources. Can you handle an electronic journal inside an ILS? No, you need a separate software called ERMS, Electronic Resource Management System. The open source software we know, Coral, is available. So most of the cases your ILS is server based, local installation, most of them are now web enabled, but progressive ILS will be browser based. Those can be local install or can be multi-tenancy based cloud installation. But in case of library service platform, it will be available as software as a service. There will be no local installation, and the total emphasis will be based on the electronic resources. So that's why I am saying ki ILS is dead, long live LSP. So in case of LSP, what is happening? You know, there are two LSP available already. One is in the open source domain called Qualiole, another is in the pipeline that is called Folio, Future of Library is Open. So LSPs are going to replace ILSs. Now what is the reason why LSPs are going to replace ILSs? You see here definition, lot many Folio definition they have given. It's a plug and play application with a cohesive experience as a single user interface. The concept is that if we can provide different kind of retrieval silos, and if we can integrate that in a library discovery system, then why can't we integrate different kind of workflow in a library in a single software interface? For example, in an academic library, you are using Koha, DSpace, ePrint, Moodle, so different kind of workflow, and you are handling different kind of software. So in place of that multiple software, you will have a single software interface where these workflows, say for example ETD management workflow, backup workflow, restoration workflow, authority file integration workflow, all will be integrated as a different apps. And if you need an app, like just like your mobile, you can install that app. So this is the LSP, and huge research is going on. EBSCO funded millions of dollars in developing Folio. The Folio will be available as an open source software, and what they are trying to integrate inside the Folio, all kind of typical libraries workflow like acquisition, cataloging, circulation, serials control, ETD ingestion not available, third party authority control not available, content management system, union catalog, data mining, grant management, student outcome metrics. That means in future LSP will be completely compatible with e-learning scenario. In an academic library, libraries now need to know how to integrate the workflow inside the e-learning system. Otherwise, there will be no need of library in future, because lot many global resources can be integrated inside e-learning. So we need to know the new ball game. In academic libraries, the new ball game already started rolling is e-learning. We need to know how to integrate different kind of services. Then museum metadata, curation and management, institutional repository, license management system, linked open data. We presently call it LODLAM, linked open data, and for library and museum. So presently in place of the library, another term is coming, that is called GLAM. This is called Memory Institutes of the World. Galleries, libraries, archives and museums all will be operating in in cooperation, in partnership. So that kind of future is coming with LSP. Lot many new things are coming. Now the question is that in case of a LSP, you believe me or it or not, the thing is that they won't have any kind of retrieval interface like library OPAC. So in future LSPs will be coming without any OPAC. For example, Qualiole, already Qualiole is an experimental open library environment. Many foreign universities are using it. They do not have any OPAC. They are exposing their metadata on the top of OIPMH, and discovery service can harvest and can integrate that, because OPAC is a wastage. If you are using discovery interface, your retrieval interface of your library management system, retrieval interface of your IDR, all are wastage. So in future Folio will be released in the latter part of this year. Folio will have no OPAC. Rather, EBSCO provided a grant to ViewFind community to develop a Folio driver, so that Folio can expose metadata, ViewFind can index, and on the top of that driver, ILSDI driver, ViewFind can fetch real-time item level status from Folio. So that kind of thing is available. So if there is no retrieval, we need to know that in future discovery will be the only single user interface in the library. And on the other hand, from the staff side, it will be integrating n number of workflows, so that we do not have to use separate software for separate purposes. So why we are using Koha and DSpace? Why we cannot have a workflow of digital media archiving inside the ILS? So that is the concept, that every different workflow presently we are performing through different software should be integrated, just like we have integrated retrieval silos in a discovery. So that is the future, and that there lies the importance of a discovery, because in future most of the library software, the software we are using in libraries will do not have a they would not have any kind of retrieval interfaces. So another interesting thing is that in a central index based discovery system, they are not talking about user interface. User interface is again an obsolete term. They are trying to use the user experience. They are trying to capture user experience, and on the top of that, they can develop different kind of new services. They can improve existing services. So as I said, the slogan is Google like simple, but OPAC like elegant, and also intelligent. Now that is the future, but in the coming 4-5 years, it is very difficult to predict future beyond 4-5 years. Nowadays technology is advancing so much. So present situation, if we want to use discovery system, what are the possibilities, what are the things available with us? So we have tools and rules. So we have closed source commercial product like Big Four, we call it Primo Central, WorldCat Local, WorldCat Discovery, Summon, developed by ProQuest, and EDS, EBSCO. And believe me or not, these Big Four, many Indian libraries are using. And do you know the cost? Rupees 12 to 16 lakhs per annum, and that is recurring one. And they do not provide you any kind of software. The model is SaaS, software as a service. You need to go with an agreement, you need to pay. they will selectively index your system, they will give you a virtual name host, and your user can access that. So this is costing around 16 lakhs per annum for a Indian educational institute. Now as far as my knowledge goes, many of the state universities, 80% of the education burden is taken by the state universities. They cannot provide. Many of the colleges cannot provide. So we have an equal alternative in the open source domain. We have Viewfind. It's a LAMP based architecture, Linux, Apache, MySQL and PHP. We have Blacklight, that is technology is Ruby on Rails. Blacklight is also very comprehensive. We have extensible catalog based on Drupal as a Drupal module, and we have SOPAC. So these are the big four from the open source domain, and these are the big four from the closed source commercial product. So here we have selected Viewfind. The reasons I am giving you. Viewfind installation required a simple LAMP architecture. Most of you people are using Koha. The same architecture we need Apache, MySQL and PHP. Koha uses PAR, here Viewfind uses PHP. So these are the minimum requirement. Viewfind, the pipeline version is 7.0. It is going to release in July this year, and MySQL and Java 1.8 or later. So very simple, all are available, all components are also available as open source software, and you can test it in Windows environment also, because in Windows there is a XAMPP architecture, XAMPP. So on the top of XAMPP you can utilize Viewfind, but that is for testing purpose only. A production server cannot run on XAMPP. You have to use Linux at the back end or LAMP architecture at the back end. So my reasons is that why Viewfind in the open source domain, that is attractive modern interface compatible with both mobile and desktop, because they are using Bootstrap. Many of the wishlist features are already incorporated. Open source can be changed and developed extensively. Almost no cost, free with in-house expertise. Total control over implementation, and can handle millions of documents. Base academic search, base-search.net, developed by the Central Library, Bielefeld University. They are open access resource search engine. So they are presently managing 171 million record. 1 million is equal to 10 lakhs. 171 million records by using Viewfind. So you can easily check the scalability of Viewfind. It can really handle billions of records. LAMP based architecture, because many of the other open source software we are using in library like Piwik, like Moodle, like Koha, all are LAMP based, so integration becomes very easy. Lot many supports for open standard like OAI, PMH, ILSDI and many more. You can easily integrate with external services through query forwarding mechanism. This is an excellent feature of Viewfind. Lot many enhanced search feature like full text search, geodetic search, excellent tool for union catalog with real-time item level status generation through ILSDI. So these are the reasons for which we have selected Viewfind. We developed or prepared a special issue on library discovery system. Lot many experts from from different parts of the world contributed. The lead developer of Viewfind, Mr. Damien Kaj, who is the director of Falvey Memorial Library presently and the lead developer of Viewfind, he contributed one paper and guided us to set a special issue on it. The entire issue available as open access, you can see that. Apart from that, we have selected Viewfind through research work also. We recently published in 2018 a paper in Library High Tech. It's a Scopus Index journal published by Emerald, where we compared all three big open source discovery system like Blacklight, Extensible Catalog and Viewfind against 50 different parameters. It was a very comprehensive comparative study. Under 5 groups we selected 50 different parameters, and then we compared these three, and Viewfind came up with a flying color. All three we installed, all three we checked, and we came up with this comparative study, and Viewfind topped the list with flying color. And the whole content of the paper you can have from Emerald, or if you cannot have access, you request me, I can send my preprint copy of this particular paper, just to build confidence amongst you that Viewfind can do it for you. And if you are still not convinced, you go to Viewfind and see the current installation base. You will see National Library of Australia, which is actually acting at the back end of the most comprehensive digital library system of our time, that is called Trove. So they are using Viewfind. National Library of Finland, they are using Viewfind Finna.fi. As I already said, base search 171 million resources they are utilizing Viewfind and Solar Cloud. Trove, Library Australia, as I said, working at the back end with Viewfind, and Trove is simply providing the front layer. So most of the burden of the retrieval is actually served, or responsibility taken by the Viewfind for Trove. So these are the crown in the jewels, you can say. But lot many other academic universities in foreign countries, they can spend any amount of time to procure any software, but they opted for Viewfind. You can have a detailed list from this particular site, and I will be sharing this slide with Mitesh, so there won't be any problem to having these URLs. Now, as I said, the big show, base, if you go base-search.net, you see 171 million. This I took the snapshot I took the last night, and it is powered by Solar Cloud and Viewfind at the back end. So the scalability is already ensured. And apart from that, our research shows that we can go for different kind of modification. This is one example of a modern search. This is called bento box search. Viewfind is completely compatible. Say I have three components, that is the Koha OPAC repository on the top of DSpace and ebook on the top of Greenstone. So I can search a particular query in a combined interface, and Viewfind, just like your bento box is a kind of we carry the tiffin when we go for office in different compartment, one for roti, another for sabji, another for sweets. So that kind of, this is called bento box search engine. You can have different within the internal system. Again, you can make a compartment that this is coming, and if I need more result, I can click here. If I need more from DSpace, I can click here. If I need more from this Greenstone, I can click here. So this kind of search interface is possible. We can have a full text information resource, like I suppose this is an article. This we can do for both article and book. If I can select this particular line, and if I search here, you see the same bibliometric to webometrics article can be retrieved by Viewfind. So it is metadata search compatible as well as full text search compatible. You can, entire book can be indexed, entire article can be indexed. So that is another advantage. Their Viewfind is using at the back end a software called Apache Tika. It is full text extractor. Recently we tried, and the last conference of National Digital Library project of IIT Kharagpur, they hosted a conference in Delhi IIT last year in December 2019. So there we demonstrated that how geodetic search is possible inside Viewfind. So I do not have search through Boolean operator. For example, if I want to search books related to iron ore and available in different places of India like Goa, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Jharkhand, etc. The present option is that I need to write here iron and place X or place Y or place Z and so on. In place of that kind of very incompatible Boolean searching, we can have a geodetic search. I can select an area, I can retrieve that. That I am trying to show you in live also. We translated Viewfind in Bengali, and it is available in the release cycle right from the version 3.0.1. Recently, with the help of one of my student working in the PRL library in Ahmedabad Physical Research Laboratory, so there they have contributed the Hindi version or Hindi translation of Viewfind, and that is included from version 6.1. We developed a multi backend driver where lot many ILS at the backend which are compatible with OAI-PMH and ILS-DI can be tuned with a multi backend driver, so that we can have real-time item level status from different libraries. We already implemented that in as a Union catalog of ISRO, that is SpaceCat. You can see here. So this is the SpaceCat. and all the major ISRO libraries are included. There are almost 7 libraries are there. So now you see, if I search something in this SpaceCat, so it can say these are the bibliographical resources available from VSCC library, and the copy is available. This is available against the search from ISRO headquarter library, and the copy is not available, it is checked out. So this kind of real-time item level status even not available inside WorldCat. It is not available in IntCat. So that kind of things we can develop inside Viewfind. We also developed a technology or multiple that is on the top of ILSDI, that with the same OPAC login and credential I can enter inside my Viewfind, I can place a hold, I can I can check my borrowing history, I can check my fine history, save search, and many things. I can change my profile, I can change my password. So this interaction between the discovery layer and the backend ILS is also possible. We are doing it. Say user of library 1, user of library 2 can enter. We recently trying to implement a virtual union catalog on the top of different Koha instances with the help of Bengal Library Association. Presently we are covering a virtual union catalog of 9 college libraries, and it is growing. So this is all we are doing with multiple backend driver of Viewfind we developed, and Damian Kaj, the lead developer, and Aram Izila, the main developer of Viewfind for Finland National Library, and they helped us a lot. We are running a full course in the final semester on library service platform. So one particular unit actually devoted to Viewfind library discovery system. With the help of Jadavpur University, we are trying to have a 4-quadrant based online course on Viewfind in Moodle platform. This course will be open for all, and this will be available against 5 units, and on the 4-quadrant model, that is each topic will be supported by video tutorial, e-text, presentation, further reading list, and kind of MCQ based evaluation. So this is in the pipeline, and after the lockdown phase we are almost due, and we will be made it available very soon. So our present course, the prototype is already available in Moodle platform. Anyone can test it if you are interested. And as I said that e-learning is future. Now because through the LTI, learning tools interoperability, we can integrate different services inside our Moodle. Say for example here the entire library discovery is integrated inside Moodle, and my learner can search Viewfind inside right from the learning interface within the Moodle system. So road ahead, what we need to do, more translation in IndexKit. If you people are taking interest, we can go for different other IndexKit based translation. Presently only Bengali and Hindi are available. So far college libraries and only a few university libraries are using Viewfind as a discovery layer. We need to motivate elite Indian institutes for using Viewfind in place of the costly commercial discovery solution, because we can do the same thing with Viewfind, and in some cases even we can do better with Viewfind. InflipNet may take initiative to conduct different kind of Viewfind user meet, Viewfind in curricula of LI schools in India. Comprehensive training workshop such as InflipNet took this initiative right from today. Complete package we are planning to release in live DVD, where Koha, Dispace, Zipprint, Greenstone, Viewfind all will be available in a pre-configured manner, that user need not to do anything, everything will be ready-made. So that we are trying. InflipNet can adapt Viewfind as an official library discovery system, and thereby can save lot of public fund universities are spending in procuring commercial web scale discovery system. InCat can be remodeled by using Viewfind to generate real-time item level status. Viewfind and ILS DLI can do that, and I know that in InflipNet they have a very good team combined with computer science professional as well as library science professionals, so they can develop a driver to interact with Soul.ini, and that can be integrated with the release cycle of Viewfind, so that Soul can also be integrated as a backend ILS of Viewfind in future. So that's all from my side. If time permits, then I can go for some kind of live demonstration.
Yes, sir, we have time. Please go with the live demonstration.
So now please response. Can you see my browser?
Yeah.
Okay. So as I said, theoretically you almost understood what did I mean. But here let me show you something in live. Say I have a Koha instance here, just like your typical OPAC. Now Koha is OAI PMH compatible. Now you see I am going to the next step. You can see Koha can respond to OAI-PL var physical to identify. So all 6 verbs of OAI PMH is presently now supported by Koha. So we don't have to go for again the age-old export import kind of thing. I am exporting something from ILS and then importing inside viewfind. Gone are the days. As Koha is OAI PMH compatible, I will show you how can we harvest and how can we index. Now Koha is also ILS-DI compatible. So there are 25 functionalities in Koha. You can see here ILS-DI.pl. So all 25s are not supported. Presently 17 to 18s are supported. Say for example, recall item is not supported, cancel recall is not supported. What ILS-DI can do? ILS-DI is a protocol which can fetch item level information from the backend ILS to the discovery layer. So that is my Koha. Now presently what my users are doing, they are going Koha for book, they are coming to Greenstone for ebook. I have a handful of resources in ebook in Greenstone. Then Greenstone is also OAI PMH compatible. So you see all 6 verbs are now supported through OAI server. So Greenstone 3 I am using OAI server. So that is also OAI PMH compatible. I have a repository, DSpace. In Flipnet conducted many programs on DSpace, and DSpace is also OAI PMH compatible. So here is the URL, request var physical to identify. So if my 3 components are OAI PMH compatible and presently my users are running from OPAC to ebook to IDR, so in place of that thing I can have an integrated system from here. Here you see I already harvested an index. I will be coming to the combined search interface later on. If I click for the typical interface of viewfind, you can see here, and as a library professional you know that retrieval is basically a judicious combination of searching as well as browsing. So a discovery system is equally good for searching as well as browsing. So I can browse by call number, I can browse by language, I can browse by format, or even I can browse by collection. In this particular collection I have DSpace, I have Greenstone, I have 4 different instances of Koha. So all we have integrated in the same interface. I can browse the catalog here by call number. You see here, say we are using DDC number. So this is the first order division. This is the second order division. If I select social science, and within bracket number of books are available. If I click here, the third order divisions will be coming, and if I click here, it will lead me to directly to the book. So similarly I can browse by author. Within the author again I can go by different kind of subfacet, by genre, by region, by era, by topic. I can go by topic, by genre, and many more. So browsing is very very much comprehensive in case of viewfind. Now let me search something. Say for example I am searching something on slightly generic in nature, say web. Now you see what happens. I am not going to Koha, DSpace or Greenstone separately. So it can retrieve. I have 4 libraries and IDR and instance. So it can tell me that from IDR you are getting 9 result, from library 5 you are getting 6 result, library 1 you are getting 4 result, and so on. And here real time it can generate different kind of status. So what is a book, whether it's available or not. Say for example, I am interested in this book, More Library Mashup. So if I click, the detail of that particular book will be available. So it says this particular book, these are the details, and this is the holding data. So one copy available and available from library 5, general stacks of library 5. Now you see this book has got fortunately a full text document beside. So that full text is actually linked. You all know the tag 856 subfield view. We linked with that particular electronic access location, this particular PDF available in my localhost. If I now go to my this full text document, let me show you that it can search full text also. So this is the full text book. Now blindly I am selecting any line from here, any line. Say this line I am selecting. Now I am closing this book, and again I am now coming to my search interface. Now if I search by this particular line as a phrase, I am giving very strict criteria. Now you see in the pop-up it already shows that this particular book is available. Now I am searching. This time I am searching full text. Now you see the same book written. So this means that I can search by metadata, and I can search by any phrase, any sentence, any paragraph of a document. So more and more ebooks are coming. This kind of full text search interface becomes very important. So now I am again going back. Let me show you now the bento box search. So this is my default search interface, and this is the typical viewfind search interface where you can have browse and search interface. Now I developed a bento box search interface yesterday so that I can show you. Say I am searching here. I simply do not know. I simply do not care whether this document is coming from DSpace, Greenstone, or different instances of Koha. I am simply saying India or farming. Now if I search this very simple phrase, I am searching the documents with the term India or farming. Now if I click find, you see what happens. So it says, okay, all 4 components. I have given 4 components here only. You can more important. Koha 1, Koha 6 I have integrated, and this is coming from DSpace, this is coming from ebook. So right from here my user can know. So these are the result from, I have given only one indicative result from each bento. So this is coming from Koha 1, this is coming from Koha 6, this is coming from DSpace, this is coming from Greenstone. And if I am interested more book, I can click more cataloging result. If I am interested here, I can check more result from DSpace and more repository result, more LFL ebook result. So this way a single window search interface with compartmentalized single window search interface, so that in the single window search we can even know that what is coming from which compartment. So that is possible. Again I am going back to the typical search interface. So suppose let me refresh. Now I am trying to show you another interesting thing in viewfind, that is I can measure the collection strength of a given library. Say for example, I want to show what is the collections distribution of collection development in library 1. If I click library 1 from here, so entire document, all 37 documents available from library 1 instance will be coming. Now if I change my list view to visual display, you see what happens. So it can visually display my collection strength under different kind of DTC class number. In literature class, how many books I am having, in religion class, how many books I am having, in social science class, how many books I am having. Most of the book belongs to the 000 computer science, again within 000 different kind of subfield. So in a nutshell, it can give me a distribution of the collection of a typical library system. That's a very useful for a librarian, not so much useful for a user, but very much useful for a librarian to go for different kind of collection building measure. Then I can switch over to the grid view also, although the default is list. So with these documents will be displayed, all 37 document, or any time I can switch by to the list view, that is the default one. Now second one is that authority search. We with the help of Damien Kaj, we are able to integrate the entire first subject authority data sets inside Viewfind. So both C and C also kind of search is now possible in a discovery layer. Say I am giving you or trying to give you an example. So again I am going to search interface. So this time I am trying to search mechanization of library. Mechanization of library. So this is a non-standard term, you know. The right term is library automation. You see, when I search by this subject, mechanization of library as subject, you see what happens. At the back end there is an authority data set. It will say the mechanization of library, there is no book available on but you see or use libraries automation. If my user clicks libraries automation, they can have all document with library automation in place of the mechanization of the library. Now you see, this is the subject search. Now suppose my user is a novice user, he or she do not know that he or she is searching the subject. So I am selecting the generic search. So I am using the same mechanization of library. There you see, it won't even ask you that library automation, but instead of that, it will say all library automation kind of thing. So you see, library mechanization, there is not a single book of mechanization of a library denoted by that subject, but it automatically retrieve all books related to library automation. So automatically it can transfer non-preferred term from a searcher to the preferred term you are using at the cataloging level. So that is the one. Now the next one I want to show you, that is query forwarding mechanism. As I said that it can integrate both this one internal resources, as I have shown you. Now suppose I am searching web indexing or web. Now these are the result it is giving from my local resources. Now suppose I am not happy with this 25 result retrieved by Viewfind. I want more. So I can forward my query to any number of open access resources like Doage, Base, Dimension, Lens, Open Door, ETD, or even IntCat. Let me try IntCat. Say I am selecting here, I want to search the IntCat. We tried this. So this is at the last, you can see book at IntCat. Now I am selecting, you search on behalf of me what is available on web from IntCat. Now if I click find, if my machine is connected to the internet, it can carry forward the this query to IntCat, as you can see, and all resources having web in title can be retrieved. So this kind of search API you can generate for any kind of open access resources like IntCat or WorldCat, or for subscribe commercial resources like Scopus and other electronic databases. So your user don't have to move from that single window, and even you can have a pop-up window. If you do not like a new window, you can always have a pop-up window for it. So Scopus I can search, then different kind of Doage I can search. For example, if I select Doage, web is a very generic term, so I am searching in web indexing in Duaj. You see what happens. It can go to OPAC Duaj, it can negotiate with the API, and it can snatch result on web indexing. And we have given there, you search only in title, and you search only article, you search only English language document. So here you see, it search only articles, it search only English language document. So all 234 document your viewfind can snatch from Duaj. So in this way, many other services can be integrated like this. Now the last one I am going, it's called geographic search. Say first I am showing you that if I search by, as I said, that I am searching with boolean iron and Rajasthan or Goa or Jharkhand. You see, it's a very difficult for geographical resource searching, because if you want to restrict documents in a particular geographical region or place, so it is very difficult. So if I can query this kind of boolean query I can make. So you see what happens. So it retrieved 4 documents, one from Goa, one from Rajasthan, one from Jharkhand. So all 4 documents related to iron ore and belonging to different parts of the country, and I selected places here. Now in place of this kind of typical, and this is a too much skill to expect from a general user. So what we did, we developed a geographic search, because Mark 21 contains a tag called 034, where you can give different kind of latitude and longitude values. Similarly in DC we are having dc.coverage .tem spatial. So there you can give your different kind of westernmost, easternmost, northernmost and southernmost boundary or a particular point. Now you see, in this geographic interface we have given envelope in the Indian subcontinent. The entire Indian subcontinent we have given as a default envelope, geographical envelope. You can see the coordinate 68, 93, 36, 5. So this is westernmost, this is easternmost, this is northernmost and this is southernmost. So within this area, if I want to search iron, you see what happens. So it is now retrieving. It says I have not yet indicated place. It says there are 8 documents with iron, and these 8 documents are associated with 11 places, because 034 is a repeatable field. A particular document can deal more than one place names or one lat long value sets. So 11 place names are associated with these 8 documents. Now you see, if I click plus sign here, what happens? So this 11 document shows you now. So this one available from western part, this is available from southern part, 6 document, and this is available from eastern part. If I am interested in the southern part, that is Goa Karnataka region, if I click here, so you see here this 4 again tell you, so these 3 are available from here, this one available, single document will give you a geofencing, and these 2 documents available. If I click these 2, again it will be indicated at the place level. So you can go up to the place name, and it's not only that, I can again cluster. If I go this minus sign or zoom out sign, I can even recluster the resources in the entire India. Now another interesting thing is that, suppose these 11 number of records are there, and I am interested in, you see, I can always move this this one with upper arrow, lower arrow, side arrow, back arrow. So I am interested in this part of India, so I don't have to type different place name like previously we did, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Baila Dila and so on. What I will do, I will just call simply draw search box. Now I can draw if I click this draw search box, I can draw it. Say I want resources from this area. So entire resources belonging to this area will now be retrieved, and you see the envelope is changing in real time. Now it is saying there are 4 results and all 4 are available in different 4 places. Now suppose this is available from Chhattisgarh. If I click, it will show me the title, and if I click the title, it will lead me to the details of this record, and there a map view will automatically be developed. If I click the map view, you can see so this red dot, and I can always go for zoom in, and even up to the place name. So now you see it is in Chhattisgarh, and this is a boundary, not a point. Place name can be indicated by either by boundary or a point. Point is if you are giving only latitude longitude value, and it's a boundary if you are giving westernmost latitude, easternmost latitude, southernmost longitude and northernmost longitude. So you can go up to very specific. These are satellite. So we are using here Leaflet as a JavaScript library for handling JS library for interactive maps. We are using OpenStreetMap in place of Google Map. OpenStreetMap is very comprehensive and available against Creative Commons licensing. So that's all from my end. I am consumed much of the time. I'm sorry, extremely sorry.
No problem, sir. Participants are very happy, and now we will take the questions from the participants. If anybody is having question, they may type in the chat box, or they can unmute their mic, and then they can directly ask the question. But one by one, please put your name in the chat box. Yeah, see, there is one question from Mata Prasad Madhukar. Sir, please guide how to access open access resources like you have shown for INCAD.
Okay.
Where to set like which open access resource you want to search.
Okay, fine. So first you select as a library professional that what particular search service. You are getting my voice?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
So you first select what particular kind of search services from your commercial subscribe resources or from open access resources. Then you study the search mechanism. Most of these services now based on the REST API search. So if you study the whole query, you can integrate that search API inside a INI file in ViewFind that is called fulltext.ini. If you that is very easy, and lot many examples are given. You copy the fulltext.ini file from the ViewFind driver repository, then you place into your local config file and just replicate that particular thing inside your search API. So it is very difficult to explain in word. Let me show you that what is the content of this particular. Say, let me show you my fulltext.ini. So can you see my folder here, Mitesh? Oh, I have stopped sharing, na? I have stopped sharing.
Yeah, please share it.
Now can you see folder?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. You see here,
Yeah.
in ViewFind local config file, so all the INI files which are normally available in ViewFind repository, when you install ViewFind, I copied the fulltext.ini from there, So this is the file, you can see fulltext.ini here. Not fulltext.ini. This is this is searchbox.ini, not fulltext.ini. So here you see, I have shown you that I connected with intcat, I connected with doaz. You see, for each of this particular file, what we did. And there are very good examples and documentation already available inside the file. Say, if you see the doaz, let me explain the doaz. Anyone I can explain. So this is the doaz, you can see it. Okay, so this is the block for doaz. So what we did, label is article at the rate of doaz, so that my user will see. Type is equal to external, then target is equal to, I have given the entire search URL, base-search.net and so on. And this is you need to follow. So just thing you can remember, that q is equal to 1 or look for is equal to should come at the last. Say for example, the same thing I am trying to show you in for encrypted intcat. You see what happens. Intcat is also REST API compatible. So here you see the intcat block. So type is equal to external, target is equal to the entire search URL, field is equal to title, it will search title, option is equal to free, that is the free text, and it will search title is equal to the value will come from the user. Say I have given web indexing there, so title is equal, it will become title is equal to web indexing. So this is a REST fashion search, and if a service can serve you in the REST fashion, then you can easily integrate any number of services in case of your searchbox.ini file. Anything else?
Yes, sir. One more question is there. It is from Shubhadeep Senugupta. He is working in British Council Library. He is asking if any organization subscribes different databases from different third-party vendors, and if those vendors enable another security layer for accessing. So if someone is looking for searching as well as accessing the full text, does ViewFind have the option to integrate or bypass this extra security to access in full text?
No. That is not possible. But you see, the search is never restricted. So if a REST API based search, at the search level it is never restricted. The restriction comes up to abstract level, it is free. The restriction comes when you try to access the full text. So if you are using a Scopus database, suppose you are having license and I don't have license, so both of us can integrate Scopus. I can integrate up to abstract level and you can integrate up to full text level. So the moment you click for the full text, then your Scopus, it is the responsibility of the Scopus to check different kind of restriction and licensing agreement. But ViewFind, the recent version of ViewFind, I would like to give you this information, is coming with an excellent service, third party service called browsing. Say for example, if I am subscribing 1000+ journals, and all the journals I can again subscribe browsing as a third party, and I give the list to browsing that these are my subscribed list as a list of references. So browsing can prepare a INI file that I can place inside the ViewFind, and that can be seamlessly integrated. So different kind of third party integration nowadays possible for e-resource searching like journal article, technical reports and so on. So you can have a look of Third Iron. The company is called the Third Iron and the service is called browsing. Any commercial resource we can very easily integrate nowadays in search up to search level. This way it is quite completely free, but if you want to have full text and other complex licensing agreement, it's better to go through browsing. They take only a minimum charge per annum basis, and your entire resource can be integrated with a discovery system.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. It was very nice presentation, and most of the aspects you have covered for ViewFind. We are going to teach them practically how ViewFind can be useful,
Excellent.
And most of the basic things we are going to cover. And you have, integrated, and you have done so many work. In case if they want, we will redirect you to, give them to contact you for more information on this. All basic information related to Viewfind installation and operation. We'll give them a training. But in case if they want something extra, advanced level, then we would request them
Sure.
to contact you.
Sure. And I am happy that IntripNet started working on Viewfind. You have a very good team. Most of you I know personally. You are talented pool of the manpower available, and together we can build we can contribute something back to the Viewfind also.
Definitely, sir. We'll try to do that. What we have also implemented this Viewfind for our existing analyst resources.
Excellent.
And
Excellent.
I think Dinesh would be, explaining all these things to the participants in the later stage of the workshop. So thank you very much, sir, for sharing your time and your expertise with all the participants. And on behalf of Director InfluMnet Center, Professor J.P. Singh Jurel, and team InfluMnet, of course on behalf of participants, I am very much thankful to you for giving brief and good presentation on the Viewfind. So thank you very much, sir.
Okay, I am
Now
taking
we are-
your leave. All the best for your workshop.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you.